If you watch this channel, you obviously appreciate a good art book, so I know you've already got your copy of the new book that I worked on, Rockabilly, Psychobilly, an Art Anthology. And so to celebrate the release of that, I thought it might be fun over the next few weeks to go through some of the books that are sort of related to that, or that I found a lot of inspiration from when I was creating the book. And so this review is for Inks, Drinks, and Catfinks, the custom cartoon art of Shawn Dickinson. And so when I was writing my wish list for the Rockabilly Psychobilly anthology, Shawn Dickinson was one of the names at the top of the list, but it was around that time that this book actually came out. And because a lot of what I wanted to do with my anthology was showcase a lot of artists who hadn't been published before or perhaps weren't as well known, so I thought it was better to give the space to someone who fits that category, since I already did have a lot of heavy hitters lined up. So physically, this is a very impressive book. Most artists, when they make their monograph, usually they have to be self-published, or they're like 80-page sketchbooks with kind of thin paper stock and, soft cover. So it was really exciting to see Shawn Dickinson's work get this sort of like deluxe treatment. The book is a very large square format, nice thick paper, and over 200 pages, which is what we like to see. And so except for an introduction and like a sort of one paragraph biography, there's no other text in the book. And I mention that because I know some people might be expecting either artist commentary on the work or more detail on their biography, or just, more text and information and context. Personally, I don't care about that stuff. I'm here for the visuals, in which case the book absolutely delivers. And I mean, looking at the flip through, you'll be able to tell if his style of art is something you like or not. If you don't, I can't really convince you otherwise, but I would love it if this flip through is, someone's first exposure to Shawn Dickinson, if I can introduce someone to him, because his is the sort of art that, like, I would have got this book if it was, printed on toilet paper. His style and the content of his art is just so wonderful, and it's so immediately recognizable. It's all essentially influenced by sort of classic 20th century animation, Max Fleischer, Tex Avery, those kind of cartoonists. And he's really keeping it alive with an authenticity I don't really think I see in any other artist. And one of my favorite juxtapositions in art is the sort of combining a cartoon style with more adult themes. Everyone who's alive today has grown up watching cartoons. I think there's just a real kick out of taking that sort of familiar childhood experience and then combining that with a sort of more of a sex, drugs, rock and roll kind of vibe. I mean, that sounds very lowbrow, but it is, and that's why I love it. I mean, Shawn Dickinson is one of those artists who I could talk all day about why I think his art is so great. If I had any criticism for this book, it would be that occasionally some images are actually printed too large. This book is mostly one of those one image per page kind of deals, and at times I really don't think that's necessary, because most of Shawn Dickinson's art is very simple, very clean. Because the dimensions of this book are so large, images that really could have taken up a quarter page are instead given a full page. It does sometimes feel like there could have been a bit more content, but I do understand that when you're creating a monograph just on one artist, it can be very hard for them to have produced enough work over the years to warrant filling, a 200-page book. So it's not really a big thing. It doesn't happen all the time, but I did just want to mention that. Also, this book is a little expensive, primarily, I think, due to the large format. And so I really think they could have mitigated that and my previous criticism by actually producing this book in a slightly smaller format. And in doing so, I think it would have brought the price down and really not affected the impact or detail of the art at all. But as it stands, I think this is an absolutely fantastic book and completely worthy of such a fantastic and deserving artist.